Okay guys, welcome to part 2 of this sort of beginner's guide, or the tutorial of the tutorial. We've actually did the tutorial in the last session, so if you really wanted to sort of catch up to where we are, I strongly suggest that you start back at that video if you've sort of bounced into this video without knowing what was going on. Because we're now going to be sort of moving away from the aspects covered by the tutorial and just going through, I guess, some of the concepts of Dwarf Fortress and how that's sort of then going to sort of work. We've got a lot to do in this episode, so it'll probably be another hour, I would guess, I think, just to sort of cover the basics. What I have done is I've started to sort of go through the actual dungeon itself, or the fortress itself, just giving sort of other instructions now to sort of delve deeper underground, get an area for a meeting hall, get an area in here for kitchens, because we have to get our food under control. One thing we might have a look at is the stock levels. So I've just got a save here from when summer started, so we'll just move the stocks into here. Now, I did mention in the last episode that the dwarves are good at counting up to 10, but not very good beyond that, unless they have a bookkeeper or somebody that can actually then sort of do those sorts of jobs. Anyway, we'll just go and just click on OK there. So you can sort of go through and have a bit of a look. Now, one thing we want to have a bit of a look at is really our food situation. And so if we just sort of start to scroll down through here, actually one thing I don't know is if the search will actually look for plump helmets. There we go. It's actually under plants and seeds. So we've got actual plump helmets in through here as well. We've got 28 plump helmets, and under seeds we've got 9 plump helmet spawn. So we've got a little bit of the actual seeds for these guys, and we have, as I say, we've got a few in through here as well. For the of the actual plump helmets themselves, and this is actually part of our food stocks that we see back up through this site. So we can plant the seeds, and we can then of course go and eat the actual plump helmets themselves. So let's go and get started with our let's get started with our farming side of things, and we'll just do a little bit of a bit of an expose on how that actually does work. I'll probably be pausing a lot of the time as things go through. I wanted the miner to come back down into here, but I might just try to get the miner to focus on planting. Now, we can plant some plants outside, but not any of the things like plump helmets or any of the dwarven plants. They all have to be underground. And so when we come back into these different areas, if we come back into here, for example, we'll see that this is sandy loam cavern floor. When I sort of hover over that one, you'll see it up there in this area of the screen. And this can be planted on, but this can't be. Stone cannot be. You can't plant on stone, but you can on this sort of soil, although it's not great quality. The better quality soil is usually deeper down underground, but it's dangerous. So we're just going to play it nice and safe. So I've got and I've also got some other black sand. Sometimes sand is not good. We don't actually have a flat area of the sand. You can see there's some black sand back over here. What I'll do is, one way to test this is to just go across to your building tab. Again, we've got the designations in through this side, just as a quick summary. Anything that we're doing to interact with something that's existing, like if we're cutting something or breaking something or undoing something that exists in the world, it's a designation. If it's something where we're adding to it, or like we're actually going to be adding something to something, we then are building. So we go to the build menu or this group of designation menus back and through this side and through here. So this is like interacting with what's something that's existing, like whether it be a rock wall or a tree or something like that. We might actually also just chop down some more trees while we're here. Actually, just get rid of these. I'm just thinking ahead of the other things we want to do. I want to clear out around our fortress. This is going to be the entrance to the fortress, and I'm going to be going through how to secure these sorts of areas as well. We've got it sort of a little bit secure at the moment, but not very secure. So we want to sort of get even more points of entry to sort of make it more difficult for anyone that does invade. Okay, so we've got that one there. So we'll be chopping those trees down. That will then just open up the space for us a little bit. We've got most things off here, but still not quite enough. There's still more stuff coming down, I believe. We've got the wagon. Maybe that is the whole thing. What we can do also, by the way, I'll just right-click just to remove that. We can go to the wagon. We can actually disassemble this, so remove this building. And so we might just do that one. There is actually some bags that are actually still back in here, and copper maces. I will actually do this. So let's go and this one's now going to be slated for removal. That will then just be pulled apart for wood. And look, you might as well do it when you've got no use for it, because actually no, we still have a use for it. Cancel removal. At the moment, this is our meeting hall. So we have to get our meeting hall sorted out before. Sorry, I'm just running a little bit ahead of myself. We'll do that after we get the meeting hall established downstairs. Let's just go down onto this layer here. Once we go down beyond this, we're on a rock layer. So this is really the only place I can sort of build anything for farming. Now my choices are to come off this ramp, which is going to be pretty much open. I want to get better security for the ramp, and so eventually we'll fix that one up. But what we'll do in the meantime is I think we'll just come off this area through here. So let's just go back into our mining menu, which is just the M key, which brings this one up. And then by default, it then takes this one through here. I'm just going to create like a little landing for there. We'll just cut our way into the actual place itself. And then we'll just build an area. Like, it doesn't really matter what size it is. You don't need very big areas for doing this. Like, that would be heaps. What have we got there? 6 by... actually, I might just do it a little bit larger. 6 by... I'm just going to make them 2 by 5 wide, and I just want to have like a walkway around it. So it's 1, 2, 3. So if I do it to there, 3, I'll just go 4. That's going to be 1. I'm just trying to figure it out now in my head. 2. I think we need to go 1 more. There we are. So that will do, and that will then eventually they'll come and sort of fix up this one in here. Now, if I'm wanting to actually get this one mining a little bit faster, I can go and actually use these designations if I'm wanting to, but then it's always going to then show as soon as I do this. I'm not sure how to actually undo that so it doesn't show anymore. She's doing it anyway, actually, and it's very, very fast, but we can actually say this is a priority. So by all means do that if you're wanting to. We won't worry about that though. I don't want to get too involved or too tricky with anything in this particular session. I will be doing much more deeper dives and sort of really involved playthroughs and let's plays and things both on Twitch and on YouTube. So sort of if you're not part of the channel, or if you haven't sort of subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so if you are interested in this sort of game. As I say, I'll be covering this game an awful lot. I love what they've done with this version of the game. It's funny because I was quite worried about it, just how it was all going to come together, but it's really, really cool. I was wrong. I was tentative, I guess it was the way of sort of thinking about it. There we go. They've now sort of cut this little area out through here. Let's just right click to get rid of that mining menu. It's just so clean, this game. Like this version of the game is really, really good, what they've actually done through here. I'm absolutely loving it. The more I play it, the more I can appreciate just how valuable this is going to be for new players. It really is exceptional. Now, we don't need a hell of a lot, as I say, for our mining, for our planting. So, just that big will feed our fortress for an awfully long time. We won't even get through much of what we can do through here. So if we go back in and if we go to the build menu now and go to workshops, because the farming aspect is, you can see that most tasks in the fortress are started and completed at workshops. Tasks generally require raw materials, and most workshops are constructed from boulders, blocks or wood. In this case, all we're doing is going to be furrowing land. And so when I click on the workshops, we've got all sorts of different workshops in here. When you see it say these workshops, it means that there's a collection. So we've got like a few different things like leather workshops, looms, clothes and dyers back and through there. Farming is also a wide variety of food and drink related workshops. So we've got all of these different workshops related to that one there. The different sorts of furnaces that we actually have in through here as well, like magma smelters and magma kilns and all sorts of weird and wonderful things in through there as well. So by all means, have a bit of a play. And also when you do, hover over them and just sort of see what it says. The tooltips are exceptional because we didn't have that before in the classic version of Dwarf Fortress, and this really makes a massive, massive difference. I can't stress enough just how important that actually is for the game and just how great that actually is. Now, I'm just going to go back to farming, and we start off with the farm plots. So plant crops at the farm plot, you will need seeds and spawn and must collect crops by the season. Crops can be fertilised with potash. Soil is richer, deeper underground. Now, so we're going to be fairly substandard soil, but enough for us to just get our fortress started. So let's get this thing doing. I would be doing this, by the way, when you start the fortress, I'd be setting up first of all getting everything underground so that you've got everything sort of clear away, or inside your actual the entrance at least, so that you've got everything away from outside, and then from that point. I'd be sort of then starting to dig out with the miner and then establishing the farm plot straight away. So normally I'd be doing this one right at the very, very start of the game. But in this case, we just followed the tutorial first, and now we're going to be doing it now. But we've got a lot of food and seeds. We've got 30 seeds in through here as well. We can have a look at all the different sorts of seeds. It won't matter too much. Actually, we might do that after we do this. So I'm just going to create like a little 5x2 area through here. It really doesn't matter what size. I'm just going to click that one on so we can try and create more of these. So we'll do one there, one there, one there. So just 4 of them will be fine. So that way we've sort of just got little farm plots back in through there. Just right click. Oh, by the way, if I try to make this on a rock layer down through this side, if I go back into my workshops and whoops, not furniture. Go to farming and farm plot. You'll notice that when I try to hover over these areas, underneath this part of it, it's going to say no soil or mud at the location. Now you can actually create soil by putting water like level 1 water down on a rock surface and then letting it dry off, and that will then become mud. And so we need to have soil or mud. When we come back up a level and look at this one through here, there's no impediment here at all. That's actually no problem at all. When we come up above, if we go back into here, you'll see that it's actually got no mud or soil for the farm. So even though we're outside, it's still, I'm not sure if we can actually do it on this here. No mud or soil for farm. Mud is left after water. I'm not sure about the sand. Usually sand you can't build on, but this sort of rough soil in here, this loamy soil, we can. So let's just go and let that actually happen. In the meantime, our miner is going to now come back down and start to build on the next level, which is where we're going to sort of be building our different areas. Now what I might do is I might just block this area off. Now there's a few different ways we can block things off in the fortress. This is a plan. So let's actually talk about this, because this can be quite useful. I do this a lot actually when I'm building a bigger fortress. I might as well go through it now. It's a bit more advanced than what I was going to do in this area. When you're down into the designation of the mining areas, just go across to here, and you can do this across all sorts of different areas, but just be aware that once you click this thing on, change to blueprint only mode, it will then end up being stuck in that mode. So you've got to sort of undo it. We can also then go change blueprints to standard selections, or we can go to change standard selections to blueprints. I'm going to do that just to constrain areas. I can either just do this little area through there, like I can just do that, which then locks this all off, or I can just do the whole lot and make, okay, well that's all just going to be a blueprint for now. I could even sort of say, okay, well look, all I really need is just to get a couple of these things built. So let's just go across and do that now. Let's just go and leave just the first couple of these. And if I just block them off like that, they're not going to be able to dig through that area. So I'm just saying do this other bit later, but let's just do the whole lot in there. And so when it's time to then come back and open this one back up again, I can then just come back in and then just go across and change the blueprints to standard. And then I just sort of repaint the elements back in there again. So it's sort of fairly sort of simple, but just be aware that that's something that, if I go back to there, I'm okay. But if I do this one here, change to blueprint only mode, allows me then to plan. And so if I did want to sort of then start to think, okay, well, I do want to definitely be going down to this next layer or the next layer down below. If we sort of make this one the start of the bedroom layer, for example, I could go to blueprint mode in here, go to mining, and I can then start to sort of then build the, whoops, hang on, I don't want to do that. I can't Control Z, I don't think, no. It's sort of, it doesn't work that way. I will do, see how it's gone, some of the up down stairs are active because they've been designated from above, but we haven't done these yet. This is quite interesting actually, because these are not quite where they want to be, and so we don't want to be mining these. I am going to do up down stairs there. So I'm just going to go back to my stairwell again. I'm just going to go to the stairwell above. I'm going to select on both of those, and then just go back down to these different levels. I'll just go down to the, actually, if I go down to the bottom, I do want to sort of designate these as being the full things. Let's just go and make sure that we did that one correctly. If we just go back up, that one's okay, and that one's still an up-down stair. Just always double check it. We don't want it to end up like this. So it's quite clever the way the game does work, but there can be little instances where you end up with a down stair and then another down stair. I've had that happen just mainly because of terrain, but it can actually happen, so just be aware of that one there. And so this is also stuff that we've now got designated. I might just go back and make this one into real, back and through this side, so I can just go and paint these different areas. Oops, hang on, I don't really want to be doing that, do I? I just want to get those as stock standard. Then I can leave the others like that, and that way we don't go to the next layer down. So when we're down on this layer, if I just go back to blueprint mode and then go and click on the digger room, I can then start to build my corridors back down to this side. So I'll start to just plan how we're going to then do our bedrooms. And I'm going to have the bedrooms sort of coming off this particular region. So bedrooms in particular is an area that you probably really want to start to think about pretty early on. Now, when we come back in, you don't, like a 2x3 is heaps for a dwarvish bedroom. So we'll just go and build a heap of those sort of coming off this way, and just sort of get them sort of established. One way we can sort of do this one even a bit more effectively is to just do this, and then sort of try to figure out, okay, well, let's do another group that's going to happen down through this other side. And then we're going to have doors that will then sort of extend out through this other side through here. So we can sort of just get all the doors and things sort of established. And this is a fast way of just sort of planning your fortress. I will just go through this so we just get, so we're not telling the miner to mine here yet. And then we can just undo the bits that we actually don't want to have happen anymore. So we'll just go back across, establish that down to that area as well. Yep, I'll keep that one there. I might just remove that designation. So we're just planning corridors. Now, sometimes it's a good idea to then move your corridors out a little bit, so we can actually sort of just do this one in here, for example, just have the corridor sort of spin back around. And this is mainly, again, if there's a problem in your fortress, just to get access. Like if you've got a vampire that's preying on people, you may be able to, like if having access, it actually doesn't really matter, to be honest. I don't know why I bothered saying that. All right, let's now just go back to this eraser tool, and we'll just go down and sort of cut through these different areas and just sort of cut the rooms out so that we actually have the rooms all self-contained. So we'll just go down this way, and then also just in between those as well. We just want the central corridor coming back in, go back to the mining area. And so when I'm ready, I can then just start to open up certain areas of the fortress. I might as well, I won't do it here, but you get the idea. I can then sort of have these as little bedrooms, and even a 2x2 is good enough for dwarves, but a 2x3 is actually not too bad. So this will be our bedroom layer when we're ready. We also will be wanting to have bedrooms for nobles. And what I might do is I might actually have that go off on its own wing. And so with the nobles, you're going to have like a whole lot of different sorts of nobles eventually in the fortress. So we'll just start on this wing through here. I'm going to create 2 3x3s and have that as, it's going to be our first noble area. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually open this one up, because I do want to use this one fairly soon. So I might just go and establish this little area. And then we'll just go and unlock those. So that will be something we do want to go and do. And then that one's going to be doable as well. So they'll go and do that bedroom. And so we'll sort of get that one established just for the future so that you get an idea. This will be for our expedition leader. And you'll see what we're going to do with that later on. We're going to make the expedition leader usually into the manager of the fortress as well. So we need to establish a bedroom and an office, and that's what we're going to be doing in these 2 different areas and through here. So it's not critical, but it's something we can actually then go and do. So we now just go and unclick that one through there, just go back to the default, sort of hide that one away, and then we're ready to go. But if you see this blue, it just means that you've got the if you do a Shift M while you're actually in building mode, it's going to go to that as well. So just be aware that if you're used to That was the old keyboard shortcut, by the way, for going into this sort of planning mode, but that's all fine. So we'll leave that one alone. Now what we've got is we've got to have these, the dwarves are now going to come back into here and start to work. See how they're furrowing? In fact, they've already just done it while we were doing other things. These are now, all the farm plots now ready to go. So if I click on all of these, if I just sort of move across, you'll notice that they've got spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So we want to just go and start in through here. Now we've got a few different sorts of plants that we can plant. If we go to summer, this has got nearly all. If it's got all of the plants that we have that we bring with us from the mountain homes. Our staple is plump helmets, so we always want to be building at least one of those all the time. And the plump helmets are mushrooms, and they allow us to create. We can still the actual plump helmets themselves into alcoholic drink, which is what the dwarves drink, or we can actually create meals out of the plump helmets, or we can eat them raw. So they're very, very versatile, incredibly versatile. And so we'll definitely be wanting to get those started. The other one that we actually have that we can eat is cave wheat. And so if we've got cave wheat seeds, we might as well do that as well. I'm going to probably sort of allow a bit of everything over the course of this one through here. We've got quarry bushes and sweet pods also are other food that we can then sort of grow as well. Usually we don't bring very many of these three here with us, but you've always got plump helmets, so you want to be growing them all year round. Pigtails are used for like cotton. They're sort of like a cotton type plant where we can create like a coarse fibre out of that one, or coarse cloth, and eventually that can be our clothing area. That's important to have those and get on top of those as well. And dimple cups are the most useless of all of these. These are only for creating dyes. This is more late game. If you do want to have dyes for your clothing, that's what dimple cups are. You don't eat them. They're not. So they're very in the early stage of a fortress. They're not really useful, and so we don't need those. But plump helmets definitely. So we'll just go across. We'll click on that one through there. I'll just start at spring, and I'll make this first one just purely plump helmets the whole time. So we'll just go there. Plump helmets down through here. Autumn plump helmets. Now, some of them in winter you've only got dimple cups and plump helmets, so everything in winter will be just doing these. The next one is do some cave wheat wherever we can possibly do it. That's spring. No, none of those in through that side. Again, in that case, we'll just put in the plump helmets. We've got cave wheat in autumn. Throw that one in, and then in winter, plump helmets again. Now, you can actually go and try to fertilise, but we don't actually have the capacity to do that one yet, so we'll worry about that one a bit later on. Let's go now into quarry bushes, and we're not going to have hardly any of these, but we'll just start there in summer. In spring we'll go sweet pods, so we'll just alternate between the two. Autumn we'll go into plump helmets, and in winter we'll go to plump helmets again. And let's make this last one our clothing one, so we'll just go with pigtails in there for summer. In spring we don't actually have them, so we'll go with dimple cups for that one, just in case we do end up getting them. Pigtails across in autumn, and in winter, dimple cups. So we will still grow them, but it's not going to help us all that much. But if we could fertilise, and we don't actually have the capacity to do the fertilising, this is poor soil, so we don't actually have the capacity to fertilise this just yet. But if we do, then we may have to actually have a farrowing leaf fallow there for a particular season or something, just so we can sort of try to then enrich the soil. But in this case, it's so rich and deep, this game, like it covers all this sort of stuff. So it's going to be growing slowly. Initially, that's all we need to do. All right, so that's our farming under control. When I unclick, they're going to start to come back in and then make use of this. Now, we're going to go back through another step in this one here. We're going to change and put our stockpile in here. We've got a stockpile that we can go and place in here for seeds. So let's go and do that one right now. So we'll just go and add a new stockpile. We'll throw it along the bottom in here. It doesn't have to be very big at all. This will be interesting to see actually, because we'll just go and accept. Seeds come under food. So when we go into food in through here, I'm just going to go across to food, And now it's a food stockpile. And now I want to customize it because I don't want all my food in here. I only want to have seeds in here. So we just go across to seeds, back in through this side. You can see that there's different things up through here. So it's toggle whether the stockpile allows plant and animal-based objects regardless of other settings, or toggle whether the stockpile allows non-plant and animal-based objects regardless of other settings. Now, this is not going to be something that we're going to worry about in this instance. We're just under food in through here. We're not going to allow much at all. I'm just going to go and click on none, and then I'm going to click on seeds, and I'm going to go. I might as well just allow all, even though there's not very much in here that like there's a heap of seed types, but we might as well just get everything. Like if we end up with other seeds, then we may have a use for them in the future. Some of these, most of these seeds will be for upstairs, like out in the open, but some of them are for us. So let's just go across and go to all. So all the seeds have now been activated. In reality, probably would be best to just leave it with the dwarven underground seeds, but let's just put everything in here for the seeds. So we'll just go across and right click. So that's now been established as a food stockpile. I've still got this one selected, but if I go back into custom, it's still just seeds. So that's now been established just for the seeds. And if I unpause the game, what they'll come is they'll start to, some of them will start to bring seeds up into here. Actually, they probably won't, to be honest. What I need to do is I first of all need to go, I'll just pause again. We'll just go back down the into the fortress. Now, we've got a big stockpile in through this side. See how much neater it is now that we've got the bins and the barrels. So we've got barrels, and we've got barrels of drink in through here as well. I'll just right click on this one. So we've got a dwarven beer barrel back in through that side. Then we've got barrels of meat. We've got barrels of fish. So they're being stored away. This is a gem bin. So we've got sort of like gems in that particular bin, finished goods in that one through there, cloth bin in through this side. So different things are being placed really nicely and neatly into this particular stockpile, which is fantastic. Now, one thing we might do, I won't build too much. I've still got another couple of beds in here. That's actually fine. What we might do is we might just come back across. Now this guy, that's our crafts dwarf in there working away. Let's just think of other things. We're going to need to have the mason and the mechanic as well. They're the other critical workshops. So I might actually build them back over in here. I might even move this one out of the way and start to sort of do what we did over this side. Yeah, I might do that now, actually. I'll just clean this area up. So we've got the carpenter's workshop is back in through this side. I'm going to go and remove this particular building. So let's go and get rid of this one. Because I can add stockpile links for this workshop. So I can actually sort of, for example, in this workshop here, I want them to take the rock from in here. And so we can just go, okay, add stockpile links for this. Actually, this is going to be becoming over complicated. I won't do that. I won't do that. I'm trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can. We're going to go into the stockpiling through here. Yeah, so we're going to go into this stockpile. I'm going to erase an area for this particular workshop. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go across, view the stockpile. We're going to go to this repaint the stockpile. Now, if by default it is going to actually be adding to it, so it's got click an area to paint the stockpile. I can come back down into here to erase a portion of this stockpile. And so what I want to do is I just want to erase this portion here. That just makes the stockpile then just go in this L shape. And so I'm going to now take this particular location. In fact, I could keep that one where that is. In reality, and we can just keep on sort of building other bits and pieces around it for the other workshops. Let's go and do that. Let's change this particular stockpile. We'll accept that. So we're no longer sort of storing the wood back in this area. This is wood stockpile number 2. We're going to change this one to stone. So it's now a stone stockpile. So we'll end up getting stone in through here as well. And so we'll then put a different sort of workshop in this area. I'm now going to go and grab another. So I'll just right click on there, go back to into these. We're going to create a new stockpile in through this side, into this area around this one. This one will be a wood stockpile. So we'll then put the wood stockpile in through there. Then we want to have a mechanics workshop in through here, and then we'll put more stone back in around this other side. So we'll just go back into our mining area and establish a little bit more. I will actually go and add in more access points back in there as well. Let's go and get these workshops established. So again, just as a bit of a recap, we spoke about this one last time. The stone worker is an important one. We'll throw that one into there. And so we'll just make this one out of anything, really. I mean, distance of 3 is nothing, so we'll just get andalite. Actually, andalite was the last one that we actually had. There's going to be 2 pink ones. Let's cancel the construction and do that one again. I just want to like if we try to sort of keep everything color coded a little bit, like we've got actually andesite's okay. It's the alunite that is the pink color. So let's make this one here. Andesite is fine for us to use that one there. So let's just go across and build it out of andesite, and we've got cinnabar there for the last one. So we'll just go back into our workshops, work into here. And so the important ones that we really need initially are the carpenter, the crafts, the stone worker, and the mechanic. So they're our 4 base building ones. We'll just go and throw this one into here, and we're going to use this one out of cinnabar just to get the color coding, and then we'll go across to this workshop over this side as well. So workshop, and we'll make this the stone worker, and this will be the one that we make out of andesite. There we go. You can see the colors there. So we'll just do that one, and we'll unpause. And so they'll now come and start to build all of these, and that should be good. And in fact, what we'll do through here is I'll make this into another stone stockpile. I'm making separate stone stockpiles for all of these different workshops, but yeah, that'll all be good. We'll just go back into stockpiles and through this side, start painting a new one. I can only really build it into there, so I'll just build that one to start there. Oh, hang on, did the wrong thing. Right clicking really is like it is saying, no, I'm done. All right, so got another stone stockpile back in through that side. And then we'll extend this out once we sort of bring this other one down. These are our basic areas. Now, if we have a bit of a look up through here, we can see that the guys are now planting what they can plant. As I say, there's not a hell of a lot in their seeds that they actually have. You'll see the seeds dwindle away as we plant them. So we've got about 20 seeds left over. In fact, if we go to our stocks and just go to seeds, what do we got? We've got pigtail seeds back in through there, cave wheat seeds, sweet pod seeds. That's good. We don't have the rock nut seeds. Okay, so I'll just click it so we don't actually have to have a look at that one again. But this is, so we've got the seeds, and then we also have spawn as well. So if we go to our spawn area, actually I'll just, so spawn is for the dimple cup spawn. We've got some of that as well. Actually, I'm surprised. And we have plump helmet. But again, this is not useful. So we don't really need that. Let's go back out. Now, again, this is now a little bit insecure. Like this can be then raided and destroyed by goblins if they do attack. So let's just go in and go to our build. We'll go to furniture, sorry, doors and hatches, and we'll just throw a door into here. So we're going to go to pomegranate wooden doors, and I won't bother keeping on building. So yep, that's okay, and that's done. So it's already been built. There we go. So we've now got a door that we can lock if we do get attacked by goblins or anything really. The lockable doors will keep most things out, so that they can actually be controlled quite well, except for when they start to bring trolls, and that can be a real problem. There's a trigger in the game called door smashers, and so certain beasts have got like a door smash ability, and they don't get stopped by doors. So doors are okay against sort of most things, but not against all things. In fact, it's very, if you're relying on doors in your fortress, you're in trouble, essentially. All right, let's go and while we still wait on, let's just see how we're going with this. So we're still waiting for this to be dug out. So there's still a bit to go in through there. What we might do is actually change things so that we have our work orders. So we're only giving our miner telling them that they have to only mine, because we've got a lot of work for the miner to do. So let's go to our work orders down through here. This is our labor menu. By the way, we haven't looked at any of this one here. We've got our civilians back in through this side. You can sort of see that this is sort of like where we've got our work orders down through this side as well. Our miner is Irvad Ollinkinson back in through in this particular area. And they're all quite happy, all of our dwarves, in through this side. We've got the work orders back in through that side. I can actually stop it. So this worker is specialised and will only do tasks that match their workshop assignments, which is mining. So just by clicking on that one, we do it. Other ways we can do the same thing is we can go across to the labour tab, which is the same as actually clicking on this one through here. And I'll just go click on OK through here and do the same thing. So when we look at all the miners in the fortress, they've been allocated as that's one of their specialities, but they can do anything while this is actually unlocked. So they're not specialised at the moment. Now they are specialised miners, and she will only mine. And that's all she'll do. She won't do any of the other tasks. It's really cool. Like, this is such a nice way of managing the fortress, and this wasn't in the original game. So again, there's little helpers all the way through. Just have a bit of a fiddle with it, and just sort of see what's going on. It's very, very cool the way it sort of does work. Other things we actually have is this is the task information. This is sort of telling you what each of the actual workers are doing, what the orders are, what they've got to sort of try to get up to. So you can see here the miner is currently building the mechanics workshop, which we don't want her doing. We want her mining away. So that's a waste for us. So by making her a specialist miner, she won't do that in future, but she'll finish off this particular task. So that's what she'll sort of do initially at this point in time. Then we've got places. So this is the information, like the dormitory is the only place we've actually built in the fortress so far in our zones. There won't be much else anywhere else in through these. Are different stockpiles. It's just so nice the way that this has been laid out. I really love it. This is the other area that we can actually sort of do the same sort of thing. So we can do the same deal here and make her a specialist. Work orders will come back to. So I think I'll just leave it there. Yeah, I'll leave it there because we'll talk more about nobles and so on and so forth later on. So she'll still go, here as she comes in through here, she's going to now go and build the mechanics workshop. There it is, done and dusted. And now she's going to go off and do the mining again. So she'll only specialise now in mining. She won't get caught up in any of this other stuff. So she now has done that one. I'll just pause this one for 1 second. And we're just going to go across into here with the stone stockpile. And we're just going to extend this one out now across. I'm just going to go and paint this one down a little bit further. So we're just adding to it now. So that's the stone stockpile for the mechanics workshop. And what we might do is always just have a little bit of something going, not all the time, but just have a little bit in through here. I'm going to add a new task. I want to get some rock mechanisms. I'm just going to add in a few of these. There's not really much to sort of work on through here, but let's just get, say, 4 of these built. That will be important. So we'll leave those where they are. Now, back in through here, we'll add more tasks to this guy through here. We'll go and add more beds. We're going to need more beds. So we'll get 3 of those. I might get more doors. We are going to need doors as well. This is a bit of a worry doing it this way, but anyway, let's just go that way. Yeah, this one is still being built. Let's just wait for this one to be established. So it's been suspended. I don't know why. We'll just allow that one to be built again. Yeah, they're bringing other things in. I love the look of this game. God, it really is brilliant. So we're now building our stone worker, and I'm going to make all of the tables and so on and so forth out of this one here. So we're going to make rock doors as well. Rock doors and wooden doors, same strength. Like there's no difference there. We're going to need things, for example, like rock tables. We should have tables in here. There we go. And thrones. Thrones are the chairs. So these are the same as chairs. We'll get a couple of the tables. Get, say, 3 of those. There's a few things we definitely always need. We need those. We do need chairs as well. So we'll just get some thrones as well. So these are just rock chairs essentially. And we also, like, it's always handy to have a coffin or 2 floating around just in case you need it. What else do we need out of this one? Eventually you'll need all of these sorts of things, but not right now. Certain other things like hatch covers. We can actually put this as another way of getting a door on top of our stairs. I think we might grab those as well. So we'll just add a new task in through this side. That's all we can do at this point in time. Just get 2 of those. So we've now got, for the stone worker is now going to have different things to do back in through there. Let's have a look and see how they're going this side. And so what I want to have happen in here is to get a couple of different buildings established, and I can do that one straight away now, or we can do one of them. Let's just go and do that while we're sort of getting everything built. We're still sort of focusing on food at this point in time. If you may have to split this into a three-part recording, I think. What we're going to do is we're going to come back across. We're going to go back into our workshops again, and now we're going to go back into our farming workshops. And we're going to create a still where we can get drinks, and we're also going to then go and get a kitchen. They're the 2 other things that we do actually then go and need. The farming one here will process plants and work with livestock, so we can milk animals and things like that. We don't need that essentially right now, but we will eventually. So let's go into this area, and we'll go and grab the still. So we'll throw a still in through there. I need to just have this one opened up a little bit down there to get the other one. So we'll select the material after placement. We'll just go to andesite back in through this side. Actually, I might go to cinnabar. So we'll just go across and let her sort of work away. See how much slower she is working in the rock? The rock is much, much harder. But she'll get better and better and better at mining as she does all this. So we need her to get rid of this one so we can build a kitchen. Again, I could make that the priority, but she will get there eventually. Come on, you can do it. That'll be the very last thing she does, I bet. Oh no, she's there now, nearly. There we go. So she missed this one over here, but it won't really matter that much. She will get back to it. So they're now building the still, let's go and build the kitchen now as well. So we just go across to workshops and go to farming and then get the kitchen. So we'll get that established and we'll just build this one out of andesite. Actually, we'll build this out of alunite. Just get another pink building in through there. Okay, so now the still is another workshop where we now have more work orders that we can now give it. So we can add a new task. There's a few different things that we can do. We can brew drinks, we can extract from plants, brew drinks from fruit, brew drinks from plants, back and through here, requires empty food storage item, which we don't actually have at this point in time. So that's something that we need to sort of get. The food storage items are barrels. So we need a barrel that's empty for us to then go and brew drinks. Now, brewing drinks from plump helmets, for example, will then give us plump helmet spawn that we can then go and plant. And so that's actually important for us. So we'll just go back across. We'll just cancel this. We'll just right click. And so I also want to have a food stockpile down here for everything other than seeds. So this is actually, there's no real point in keeping all the raw materials. Anyway, we want the raw materials stored down in this area through here. So I'm just going to go and create another stockpile. So I'm just going to go and create a stockpile in this area. And you can see it's not quite in that area because it hasn't been mined properly yet. And we'll just go back across. We'll accept this one. We'll make it food. And then we'll go to custom. And so the food, one thing we don't want is seeds. So we're just going to go to none, back in through here. So no seeds, and no seeds back in through there. So all the seeds are going to go up into our planting area. And prepared meals. Prefer not to have them in here either. I mean, we probably should think of another place where we can actually have the prepared meals. Actually, maybe I will leave the prepared meals on. When the kitchen cooks meals, it will be prepared meals. And so I will allow them to sit in here as well. So we now have everything covered as far as food is concerned. So let's just go back and right click on that one. And that means we can go back up to this particular area, go into our custom areas and go to food and actually turn all the food off. So we'll just go no food. That way it will now distribute everything that was in here. Now, one thing we saw is we do need to have more barrels. So I'll just right click on that one through there, click on this particular carpentry workshop, and it's making a wooden door again at the moment, but let's go into wooden barrels, add new task, barrels. So you can see it's quite annoying doing this manually. So we're going to tackle this fairly soon, maybe in the next episode. I might actually leave this episode here. Let's just go and get some more barrels. And we'll just unpause and let that one sort of establish itself. Now she's just coming out and cleaning up this area again. So she's going to now finish off the mining. Now we've actually now done this last little bit of mining. She'll let her finish off this and then we'll call this to a close. She's going to do this one. Nope, she's gone off for a drink, I think. Or asleep. She's probably sleeping. No, where is she? Where is she? She's gone. So to find out where she is, if you're trying to think, okay, well, where is... Actually, we've had a new group of dwarves arrive. We can see what their specialists actually are. So there's a lot of them now that have actually come in. So we've actually had a new influx of dwarves. She is digging, actually. So this is actually fine in through this side. We'll just go back across to where she is, and we can then just go and see exactly where she... Oh, she's down here. Okay, we're building this area. That's fine. Look, in that case, I will actually end this episode here. So thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll get through the next bit of it in the next session, actually. We're sort of... we're moving through... sort of covering a lot, I guess. I hope it's simple to follow, and I'm hoping I'm giving good enough reasons as to what we do. I'll do another summary at the start of the next session, actually, just as to what we've established, why we're establishing it. I think it's always important to know why you're doing what you are doing. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in episode 3. Hopefully that will be the last of these episodes. We'll see how we go, but I do appreciate you staying till the end here. And please consider liking and subscribing if you do like this content. As I say, I'll be doing a lot more Dwarf Fortress in the coming months and years, I would assume. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.